Anybody want to start us off?
I could start. I'd like to know, Nate, about your curveball.
Yeah.
And how it's developed, and how much do you like that pitch?
Yeah. So I will tell you, I've always been a fastball guy. I've relied on my fastball a lot.
Rush for Hillsdale.com. Hillsdale's awesome. And coming up later, I'm going to tell you why Pure Talk's awesome too. I'm Brett Woodable, your guide today on the EIB Network.
All right.
When you're right that much of the time, it deserves to be heard again.
Sorry about that. All right. But no, Scott, going back to your question, freshman year, it was a work in progress. I could throw it, was having trouble throwing it for a strike as much as I really wanted to. I worked on it a lot in the off season. I actually have sort of two different variants of a curveball. I've changed my grip a little bit. I have a harder curveball that I'm actually working on the side right now. But the one I've basically gained the most feel for is it's sort of a slower curveball, but it has good spin and it works, and it's something I can throw for a strike. And it plays very well off my fastball as a bonus too. But no, that's something I've really been working on, is to basically get a secondary pitch that I'm comfortable with and can throw for a strike really when I want to. And
it sounds like you really have 2A and 2B then with your curve right now.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the faster one is still a work in progress, but maybe we'll bring that out of the arsenal here in a little bit.
How do you like your role? I don't know. There's been too many game situations where you could absolutely define what your role is, but you've been one of the first calls out of the pen. So how do you like that role?
Yeah, you know what? I embrace it. No matter what the situation is. It's always good to know that I can be a guy to get the guys out of a jam or out of any situation. Honestly, clean inning, perfect. Bases loaded, no outs, perfect. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. I'll get in there and do my job the best I can.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey Nate, just wondering, after missing last season with COVID, but also being injured. How do you feel health-wise right now? And what was that time like for you?
Yeah. I mean, in the present right now during the season, I feel absolutely phenomenal. No concerns. There's not been any red flags, not had any. I mean, literally the only thing is probably some post-game stiffness a day after or whatever. But no, last year was a little unfortunate. I had a bout of tendonitis. Spent some time out, and actually the week we were going to go to SIU for our spring break trip was the week they actually banged it all, the whole season and everything. So I really took advantage of quarantine and sort of worked my body into shape. Lost some weight, honestly, from freshman year to now, just to get my body into a better position where I wouldn't have to worry about certain things health-wise. And it's paid off, I can say. So
gotcha. And then funny you alluded to freshman year. What would you say is the biggest thing that has changed for you as a baseball player since then?
I think one of the biggest factors is honestly maturity. I mean, now as a junior, but really I guess a COVID sophomore, you could say. Honestly, it's being around the game. And just the time spent at practices and throwing and everything else. I would say the number one thing is maturity. I've matured as a pitcher. Freshman year, I was always a velo hunter, just wanting the highest velos I can. And that really doesn't work when it comes to pitching. Sure, guys can go out there and throw really hard, but a lot of times that directly translates over into walks and a lot of negative misses when it comes to actually pitching. So I would say I've become more of a pitcher, a true pitcher, than freshman year. Because, I mean, you look at my numbers from freshman year and it was, I mean, sure, I had a decent amount of strikeouts, but on the other hand, I had way too many walks. And basically just honing in my craft and learning how to pitch more so than just trying to throw the ball as hard as I can. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'd say. Just sort of more of a well-rounded pitcher. And that was honestly one of my goals too, was to work on not walking guys. I had obviously a ton. I think I had 27, 28. I don't know. It was somewhere in the mid to high 20s freshman year. And that was one thing that I really wanted to change and sort of cut out of my my pitching.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nate, what's it mean to you to play at home this weekend?
Oh gosh, it's absolutely wonderful. First few weekends, been on the road. A lot of time away from home in Champaign. I mean, it's good to be back, honestly. We spend a lot of time at this field. It's nice to be at home. I know we're allowed a couple immediate family members, so it'll be nice to have the parents come down and support the guys, and I think everybody can say the same.
What do you feel like the potential is for this team this year, Nate?
Oh my gosh, out of the roof, to be honest with you. Going back to practices in January, I mean, it may not have showed. I mean, in certain spots it has showed, but I personally believe we have one of the best lineups, talent-wise. And I think it's just a matter of time before those guys absolutely break out and start going to town.
Thanks.
You got to unmute, Lauren.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I gotcha.
Okay, my question was, could you pitch, how many innings could you afford to pitch on a Friday and still come back and pitch later on the weekend?
Yeah, so we have a decent amount of relief arms in the pen. But the initial thought process behind this is me, let's say, coming in relief on Friday for, I don't know, the pitch count's usually around 50, 55 at a top, probably 60. So, I mean, if need be, I would say to come back and throw on Sunday, I could throw probably 3 on Friday, 2 or 3 on Friday, and then come back and be a staple in that pen on Sunday and good for 1 or 2 innings.
When you use your slower curveball, is that different from a changeup?
Yeah, so I was talking to our pitching coach a little bit as well, and playing off of my fastball, let's say I'm 90, 92, and a lot of guys have a harder curveball, somewhat upper 70s, sometimes punching into the low 80s. When you have that slower curveball, it sort of works as your changeup as well, just sort of a different type, honestly.
You have a straight change?
I do have a straight change. I throw a circle change. Still working on the feel for that, honestly, but I've really found the feel for that slower curveball, and I can get it over the plate. Throw it down when I'm ahead in counts as well for sort of a takeout pitch. But I would say that curveball sort of does 2 jobs, honestly. Since it's in the lower 70s, has good spin, I can play it as a curveball in counts, and I can also subtract from it and use it as a sort of a changeup.
Thank you.
For sure.
Anyone else have anything for Nate?
One quick follow-up. Over the weekend, you struck out Jake Marty, and as I recall, he was from Bloomington.
Yeah.
Wondered if you knew him.
I do. Always played against each other in summer ball growing up. Played against him in our high school all-star game. The Pantograph does an inner city versus area all-star game that we played in against each other senior year. So yeah, I mean, I know, great kid. I've known him for a while, played against him, but no, it's good to see him because I know he started off at Heartland and now he's up at Michigan, and they had a good run in 2018. But it's good to see somebody from my area sort of making a name for themselves.
Yeah, just wondering, do you block all that out? I'm sure there's all kinds of connections in the conference when you're facing somebody. You just block that out.
No doubt. Doesn't matter who it is. It's just another guy with a bat in their hand that I'm trying to get out.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Nate? All right. Thank you, Nate.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.